Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns. It's brought to you by the Patriot Patch Company and Primary Arms Corporation. This show offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Matthew Larosiere, and I'm here with my co-host, the irresistible Shawn Herrin.
Oh boy, this is like a red letter day. Everything just amped up 15 notches.
Well, so right before he started the broadcast, he told, "All right, Matt, let's F this up." And so I got excited and started playing with my knobs.
That was wonderful. Like I have never felt more pumped to be on the show. I am so like jacked to talk news. Exactly. Say it again. Jacked. Exactly. I'm so jacked. I'm stoked. So some people would say it's dangerous to be stoked these days and age. So, you got to watch out.
Yeah, I heard that. I read about that.
Yeah.
Well, all right. But I mean, speaking of stoked, jacked, you know what's not jacked?
No.
Prices at our friends, Primarily Arms.
Boop. Primary Arms.
Yes, Primary Arms.
Yeah, Primary Arms.
And today we will be primarily looking at arms on their website.
We will.
But yeah.
Specifically,
Shawn noticed this gun while we were looking around, and it is labeled as an HK416. It's a 22 rimfire, and I actually have one of these in our shop down here. And I will tell you, at the price, it's a great little, I guess you could call it a replica or whatever. A lot of us have 22 conversion bolts for our AR, which are great, but you don't get that last round hold open unless you have one of the, fairly rare Air Force conversions. This one has the little spring plunger, gives you the last round hold open, does everything. We've got a suppressor on ours, and it is a riot. And I was surprised to see it sitting here in stock. It's a brand new item that we just saw.
Yeah. $499.99, which is pretty dang awesome. And you know what? If you wanted to get an optic for it and you bought a Primary Arms optic, if you use our code, you get a free mount.
Yep. Yeah. And our code is FRN, Foxtrot Romeo November.
Yeah. And I'm glad you remembered it because I totally forgot it. And I was
That's okay.
Frantically looking.
I'm here to hold it together.
Yeah. Isn't the 416 like $3,500 regularly? Like for the
Is it that low?
Or even more? Yeah. Like I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, so I actually have. Do you have a 416?
I do not.
Okay. I do and do not. So a long time ago, there was a company, Titan Defense, which made the TD415. And they made an upper that was just a straight up, like 1-for-1 copy of the military 416 upper. And, there was a lawsuit with HK and stuff like that. But what was funny is as they were going through this lawsuit, they blasted all the guns out on Gunbroker at like $400, $500 for the uppers.
What?
Yeah, so I got one of those, and for the price I paid, I love it. But for what you'd pay for a Mr. 556 or one of the other 416 clone guns, it's just kind of insane. The one thing I will say though, that surprised me about a real quote unquote 416.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always says, "Oh, they're overgassed." Wow, it's overgassed.
Really?
It kicks like a 7.62 by 39. It's
geez.
I'm not even. You shot with me, Shawn. I like shooting full power stuff.
Yeah.
This, like, when you shoot, at least my one and all the ones I know about, 416s and these 415 clones, they're very unpleasant. They really do kick. But crazy. With one of these Primary Arms available 416-22s, you won't have that problem. It will avoid that design flaw.
And I even noticed that they have more of them in different flavors for as low as like $379.99.
Oh, what is that? The pistolet?
No, the pistol's $399. They've got one that's black because the one we were talking about was gray.
Yeah, light gray. You gotta have light gray.
Yeah, it adds $120 too. So
that's worth it. It's like
totally worth it. Yeah, it's heavier, more robust.
I've spent an extra $100 on a 22 gun because it was gray.
I've spent so much money on everything that's like gray, and skating rink floor colored and every camo known to man.
Would
So
you
yes,
call yourself a gray man?
yeah. In fact, one day I dressed all in gray, like had a gray tactical belt, a gray holster, gray
And no one could
pants,
see you, right?
gray shirt, and I was completely invisible to everybody.
Yeah, no.
So that's a thing that happened.
That's a thing that totally 100% happened. Can confirm. Oh,
Thanks,
man.
Primary Arms. FRN.deals/PA, coupon code FRN.
Yep, go check it out. Oh, right on. So let's get straight into the news. Speaking of HK foibles, right? What's the one HK gun that everybody's always like, please, heck one quest, please bring it here, please?
MP7.
MP7,
Yeah.
right? Everybody wants it. There's all of these issues, why they say they can't do it, and I think most of them are dubious. But everyone is freaked out this week. Let's add it up here. I'm going to share my screen. Over a patent that was filed by Crye.
Oh.
And everyone's calling it an MP7 style PDW in 300 blackout.
Okay.
Of course, when we first talked about this, we're immediately like, I grabbed an AR mag, wrapped my fingers around it and went, yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
But there is some kind of slick tricks going on with this patent. We don't even know if there's a gun yet, right? All we can see is this patent filing.
Yeah.
There's actually, Shawn, you figured it out because you were reading ahead when I wasn't even looking.
No, so I immediately had the question like, oh boy, that sounds like a great grip to handle. And so I started looking through it and then came across the fact that the follower in the magazine's like 60 degrees or something like that.
Yeah, it's tilted. It looks like about 35 degrees from normal to the magazine.
It's the trajectory in which you shoot 308 at 1,000 yards. So basically lobbing it in.
Yeah, and so here's the follower we've got, and basically the gun looks like, it's looking up at the sky. Not the gun. The rounds of the magazine would be looking up. Very interesting, and looks like it would shorten the length of the magazine by like maybe 20%. Front to back.
Yeah, still looks like I counted and what it would be like 27 rounds, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But of course, this is just the patent illustration. It could be whatever. And let's also look here at the system. Okay, is it? Oh, wow, we can't even tell if it's gas operated or not. We've got an operating rod at the top with a spring going around it. It's unclear whether this is a gas block here on the left or whether this uses some type of, radial delay type system, kind of like the CMMGs do. But we do see locking lugs. We see an AR-15 style bolt head here on the left.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like if they put knee pads on this thing, it's going to cost $10,000. Okay, that joke's over. Now I can actually talk about it. I don't know. Like at first I was like, and I'm still like, and like the handguard just looks like an extrusion.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely a molded polymer type deal.
Yeah, but this might be like a really good backpack gun. Might be a great suppressed gun. Like I don't know. Like I don't know that I want it, but I definitely, if they want to make it, I'm cool with looking at it. Brought to our attention by Giorgio, an Italian firearm enthusiast. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at these patent drawings, and it's, I'm not going to sit here and say it's not slick, right? Yeah. There's just you couldn't get away with making that kind of claim. It also seems to be select fire. We've got 1 dot and then 3 dots. I don't know if that suggests that it's burst or something else, but interesting either way. The document mentions, oh God. Well, this is just patent language, right? Yes. People do this to cover, a broad range. So the document here mentions 5.56, 7.62 by 39, 7.62 by 51 NATO, 300 blackout, as well as other 6.5 variants, 50 cal variants, 300 variants, and 338 variants as calibers of interest. Well, that should cover it all.
Yeah. So they're obviously just trying to cover, you know, a broad swath of applications for their, you know, magazine. And of course, the writer of this article seems to be imagining that uh, that you would actually use it with a 308.
I mean, if you don't, like, are you even a man? This, I don't know. Like, on the one hand, it seems kind of cool. On the other hand, it is just a patent. But on the other hand, like, I don't know that this solves any problems that I actually have, or if it's just another one of those things that I'm like, it looks cool, so I want it.
Right. And they're comparing it to the B&T MP9 here in terms of layout, which is, you know, very similar. Have you ever shot one of these?
I've shot several B&Ts. I don't know if I've shot that one.
Oh, the trigger on the B&T MP9 is a war crime. It's like a half an inch long, and it's just this terrible plastic grit that you pull through the whole time. And I still kept mine because it just looks so cool. That's the literal only reason.
They do look pretty cool.
They look so slick.
Going back to this Crye patent, did you notice that it was a two-piece follower?
Yes.
Yeah. So like as it's
odd.
Yeah, so as it's down, it puts it at a more drastic upward angle. But
Right.
then as it comes up and the spring tension is relieved on the follower, it pushes it up, which I imagine causes it to feed. And if you actually go up one thing, you'll notice that the angle changes drastically right at the very top of the magazine.
Yeah, and so that's kind of like if you ever have loaded an Uzi magazine, you'll see the first cartridges kind of point up, and then as you load the magazine down, the taper begins to interact with it. And once the magazine has 20 rounds in it, they're pointing straight forward. And so I can imagine with something like this, you'd have a much, much, much more extreme deviation there. And you can see it, right? You can see the presented cartridge is sitting at a drastically different angle from the cartridge in reserve. So it's kind of a slick thing that they did there. They have a spring-loaded sub-follower, let's call it, right? Because all followers are spring-loaded. That I think the only purpose for this is just to let that last round present.
I totally agree. Like the last round, maybe. I totally agree.
That's pretty slick, you know.
It is. And honestly, like, I don't really know anything about Crye precision except I can't afford them. So like, I don't know who the dude is, but good on you, man.
I just know, they made Crisis, right?
Yeah.
Crytek engine. Yeah, that's them.
I think so. Yeah. Steam people, pretty sure.
Yes. I wonder why they're still doing guns. They should just keep making computer games.
Exactly.
Probably easier.
Ridiculous.
All right. Next up. This whole story is just like so tickling to me because like every aspect of it is just silly. We've talked for the past couple of weeks in a row now about people who don't know their audience, right? We talked about guns.com having to eat crow about that stuff. We talked about a couple different things. And then it's like this story comes out of nowhere and it's just a bit nutty, and it's hard to get your whole brain around. So the first nutty thing about it is who it is. North American Arms. And if you don't remember, they're the guys who bring you, the little lunchbox revolvers.
Yeah, or the one that you hide in your prison purse.
Yeah. Well, they are the ones that can fit there, right? They're the tiny little boys that are chambered in 22 LR and 22 Magnum. I'm still waiting for them to come out with a 32 centerfire version because that would be fun.
That'd be cool.
But I was looking, and so last month, apparently this guy, the president of North American Arms, who let's get a picture of this guy up. This is going to be mean, but whatever. So apparently this cat,
oh boy,
who definitely slays it, right? He has a bit of a rant column on his website where he, posts his opinions and sits on a soapbox basically on his website.
Which is interesting. Like I am so curious now about, and sorry to interrupt, so curious about like who are the people that are on this website reading this thing and interacting like in this forum, like forum people weird as hell.
The worst. I
Yeah.
hate them. I
But
hate them.
what is in this forum? Like, that freaks me out.
Well, so this is his like little WordPress though. It's his little like GeoCities page on the North American Arms website, right? And so it's, forum people are one, grade of cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller, right? But so now we're talking about people who comment on like live journal stuff and like live there, right? Like that's a whole different level of audience that you're writing this stuff for.
True.
And if that's you out in the audience, I'm not going to tell you except for you. I'm going to tell you get some help, right? There's some better content out there that you can be consuming. He writes this thing apropos of nothing. I believe in vaccinations, so should you. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with what he said. It's the title.
Well, I'm like, I believe in vaccinations. He could have stopped there.
Yeah.
So should you. Mind your own damn business, because I'm going to stab you in the neck.
Well, I'm okay with people trying to, convince things. And, I generally enjoy getting vaccinations, especially when Publix will pay me to do grocery shopping if I do it. But there are some instances where I'm a bit freaked out. And so he writes, warning, rant ahead, in this now deleted article where he like takes every list of of reason why people don't want the COVID vaccine and just like lambastes it. And at one point literally says that he has I'll just read it.
Yeah.
I'll admit I enjoy no small measure of Schadenfreude. It's Schadenfreude. Yes, I always try to, like, when I see the word, I think of that one movie and the guy says Schadenfreude, and it's hard to. It's Schadenfreude, I think. Reading stories of those stubborn people who find themselves stricken on death's door, suffering from their earlier foolish decision not to get vaccinated. I look at it almost as a Darwinian effect, helping cleanse our gene pool. Excuse my lack of sympathy. Too bad. Completely avoidable. Didn't have to happen.
I disagree with that premise, first of all.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's like, one, it doesn't actually stop you from getting the virus. So
nor does it stop you from dying from the virus.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, why say that? That's mean. Like you're being mean. People are dying. And that's like kind of counterfactual.
To be fair, I have no sympathy in me when people do dumb things and then expire due to that dumb thing.
No, I don't have sympathy for people who drink gasoline. Yeah. You know, whatever.
Yeah. Huff spray paint.
But it's just, he goes on. I know this is one of my more controversial and likely to be one of my least popular rants. I take this personally. There are individuals in my own family who are the subject of my heretofore silent disdain, as well as several other friends, as well as people on my team at NAA, people who I otherwise respect and whose company enjoy. Not so much so now.
Ooh, sick burn.
Dude.
There's so much here, man. All right.
Yeah, it's like, it's and so he did later come back and do a soft apology, right? He deleted this blog post and he was like, similar message, different language, and he says, I'm sorry about some of the things I said and not at all sorry about most others. That's fine. You know, that's fine. But at the same time, it's just like, and I'm intentionally very agnostic about the whole question of the whole vaccine question, because one, that's not what my channel is about. That's not what my laboratory is about. I'm not trained in it, right? So I'm just like, I always just try to see everyone's points and be like, yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm also in the gun community, right? And, you know, when Carl Casada came out with his, mask mandate hysteria, right? Where he was like, this is an IQ test and you are failing, right? And it was like throwing the mask on the ground. It was like, the reaction was very swift and decisive. And it was that the gun community is not a fan of this type of hysteria.
Yeah.
So like, don't. You
Yeah.
know?
Well, yeah, I'm there's so much even on that aspect that
And I mean, and like, I know you have strong opinions about it. That's awesome. And I respect everyone's opinion until you say something that's dumb.
agreed. Agreed.
Like he did.
Yeah, and I think like here's the thing. I know that I'm always doing ad hominem attacks on people, and I don't care. But I made the joke before the show that this dude looks like he taught Pete Buttigieg how to nurse his newborns, and I don't think it got enough laughter from you, so I'm repeating it now because that's what
I
this
was
dude looks
saving
like.
it for when you'd inevitably say it here. No, and let's not mince words. You said he taught Buttigieg how to breastfeed.
Yes,
Is what you said.
this dude looks like. Don't care. Yes, it's an ad hominem, right? That's the correct
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Don't
Yes.
care. This dude I would never hang out with ever for any reason whatsoever, nor would I read his blog. But that's beside itself. Like,
Yeah, look at his gold Rolex too.
yeah,
Come
he
on,
says
brother.
this thing that made me okay with his opinion. And I don't agree with his opinion, but he said a thing that I was like, okay. He said, and I'm trying to find it. This is just not a direct quote, but just what I remember, that I'm not mandating vaccines at NAA because I believe in personal freedom. But if people don't get it, like, I think that they're twats. Like, that's basically his opinion. And I am so incredibly okay with that. Like, you know what? If you're not forcing
He
people
said,
to
my
do it,
views notwithstanding, you should note that I have not attempted to create a vaccination mandate at NAA. People who suggest that I don't understand or appreciate individual freedoms are simply wrong.
yeah, like that right
That's
there.
fair.
When I read that, I was like, you know what? I disagree with you. I think you're a little,
A bit of a dweeb.
yeah, you're a
Yeah.
dork.
Yeah.
And like, I don't respect your opinion. I think that you're just stuck in, like, the whole you're terrified of this thing that is very likely not going to ever hurt you. And you're I don't I couldn't disagree with everything he says more, but like, he can have that opinion. I don't care. As long as he's not trying to force his dumb opinion on other people, like, I really
Right.
don't care. And now he says, as far as no longer buying many revolvers because you don't like me, that's your choice. I don't think anyone ever made a purchase because they did like me. That's not how that works, but okay. My suspicion is that most purchases are made by filthy fuds. Nope, I didn't say that. Made because the product satisfied a purchaser's wants, needs, which has nothing to do with my politics or intemperate language, for which I again apologize. So he never apologized for saying that he laughs when people die of COVID that didn't get a vaccine. He never laughs for like any of that stuff. Or I'm sorry, he never apologized for any of that stuff. He just apologizes for using.
Yeah, he shouldn't have said it that way.
Yeah. I'm like,
but look, I mean, at the same time, like, so I do respect him because well, you know what? It's really hard, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
because he deleted the original post.
Yeah.
And it's like, if he just didn't really delete the original post, I would have no problem saying I respected him because he came up and he did own it. And he's like, look, I was being a bit of an a-hole, but this is how I feel. Right. And it's like, okay, man, like, that's the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. But you went and deleted your post. Like, dude, if you delete your post, you better be coming back going, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it. Right. But if you're like, no, what I said, it's just how I said it that was bad. What I said was right. Well, then leave it up.
Agreed.
Leave it,
yeah. Agreed. Like,
but I might be being nitpicky at this point, right?
I think it's just cowardly to delete something that you said just because you're afraid that it puts you in a bad light or it's going to hurt your business or whatever it happens to be. Like, that makes me kind of sick. But ultimately, like, people can feel like this. It's just when they start trying to push that on other people that it really sends me over the edge. Now, I know we have like cancel culture. That's totally a thing. Like, to me, this isn't. So I have a North American Arms little pocket gat, and it's fun. It is a toy, basically, to me. And honestly, the only reason that I think this would affect their company is because now I've seen the dude that is the president of this company. I'm like, no, thank you. Like, not because of what he said, just because he's a freaking dork.
Yeah, it is really weird, like, that human reaction we have. And most people probably aren't like us, though, because I am the same way. Like, when I meet somebody who's behind a company and they don't sit right with me, I
Yeah.
get this like physical aversion to like sending any money their way.
Right.
Because there's like I feel like there's this lizard connection going on in my brain that it's like you can use money to buy food. And if I send him money, that means he can buy more food, which means he'll live. And that means I'm keeping him alive. I don't want to do that.
I totally
And
understand that, and I totally agree.
it's not that I want to like hurt him. It's just like I don't want to be involved in keeping a person I don't respect alive.
Yeah.
So it's, but you know what? I will say I was not likely to buy an NAA revolver before, especially on the primary market. I am very likely to buy one on the secondary market because this is the type of, an NAA revolver is the type of thing that if it falls into my hands from a buddy for $100, I'm going to take it, right? That's what it's going to be. I am never going to, okay, I say never, but if they made like a 32 caliber one with like a Joker, like a 6-inch barrel and with a tiny frame, I would absolutely order that. But unless and until they do that, I'm never gonna order one. So like his, you know, maybe his marketing's on point because he didn't gain or lose a customer from me.
No.
I don't know. You guys let us know. Put in the comments. Did this affect your likelihood to engage in mini revolver transactions? I don't know.
And I also think that what he wrote was basically the talking points of like the woke hysteria people. And I would suggest, I very much believe that he probably has very many other opinions that most of us wouldn't agree with either.
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know about just from this, especially because, you know, he's a older gentleman, right?
He doesn't look that old.
Right, but that picture, look at the picture. That picture was taken a long time ago. Look at,
Okay,
I don't think other people aside from me have beige keyboards on their desk anymore.
Holy crap.
But I do. I have an IBM Model M for anyone curious.
Clickety clackety.
Clickety clackety. And so yeah, it's understandable, right? And I also just want to come out and say it because I'm so like the outrage mob that happens with this stuff is on both sides. I'm so concerned now. Yeah, no, that they're going to come after us because we're vaguely critical. I mean, look, like I was saying, I'm not making any kind of statement on what you should or shouldn't do when it comes to all this stuff because frankly, I really don't care. You know, I deal with I like to worry about big problems that affect me and my family, right? And so, you know, I try to be responsible for me and my family. I do. I have a grandmother. I make sure that when I go visit her, I keep my distance, you know, I sanitize, I do all the right stuff. So I'm not that's enough kowtowing. All right, we're moving on.
And also, like, I don't give a crap if anyone gets vaccinated. I don't give a crap if they are or if they
who
aren't.
cares?
It doesn't change anything in my life.
Yeah.
And I'll hang out with either set of people. I do not care.
Yeah, no, like I got some friends who like to wear masks when we go out. I got other friends who get mad when those friends wear masks.
Okay, yeah, I'm not hanging out with people that wear masks.
So my thing is, well, I'm not, and this is something I'll say to everybody. I ain't wearing one because I use, and I found this out when I started scuba diving, I use like an irrational amount of oxygen. And it's like there must be some kind of problem. And I've gotten scans of my, you know, neck done and stuff to try to figure out if I've got like some kind of blood flow thing going on. But I use an insane amount of air. And just putting on a N95 or whatever mask, the only, you know, the ones that are supposed to be actually worth anything, after an hour, it causes problems for me. So I'm like, look, I don't want to get lightheaded and fall over. I'm not wearing a mask, you know, period. And you know, I tried because I value not interacting with manic people more than I do any kind of statement that I could make about wearing a mask. So I would try to wear a mask everywhere just so that no one would talk to me about it, right? Like just so I could avoid those confrontations. And when I did, I started to like legit, there was one time I started to pass out and then I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah. For me, it's more of an idealistic thing. And my thing on masks, like if I have to go wear one to get on a flight to fly somewhere, yeah, you know me, I'm constantly on planes and I wear a mask and I shut the hell up and I don't enjoy it. But like my silent rebellion is that I will only wear a paper mask, and that I've never owned anything but just the regular paper masks, because I am not adding any part of my personality into this thing, because I think that it takes away like a lot of our social interactions and things like that. And I will not stake any part of my personality or who I am as a human being
I did the opposite.
on these other things. Yeah. Like I will only wear a paper mask because that is a thing that I am forced to do, not a thing that I will ever do.
Okay. So, I did the opposite. And so here, let me just open this image. My solution was, okay, I'm going to keep one in my pocket, right? Just in case whatever happens. And it actually, when I was at the airport, I had this mask that I actually kind of liked. It had the little fake vents on the side.
Funny.
And it's like, whatever. And they're like, you can't wear that. You can't wear that. You can't wear that. And I'm like, okay, are you sure? Like, yeah. All right. I'm like, don't worry. I have another one. And I reached into my bag and I pulled this out.
Oh God.
I bought the hentai ahagao face mask.
Oh, that's awful.
I carry it around specifically. It's not awful. It's art. I carry it around specifically for situations like that where somebody gets, crappy. I reach into my back pocket and I put it on, and then like their face every time it's the same.
Oh yeah,
it's just
like, are you?
It's just like deflate a little bit.
That's terrible. I love it. That's absolutely terrible. Where can I buy one?
I actually don't like the website I bought it off. They're they're very super. They send me all these super woke emails, and it actually ticks me off a little bit. But
maybe the guy from NAA is writing their emails.
I don't know about that, man. This is like cranked up.
Oh boy.
Well, anyway, there's an explosion in Chicago. Did you know that?
Yeah, I think so. I assume that Lori Lightfoot like reached her final form and it blew up the city.
Not yet.
Oh,
not yet.
Sorry. What were you talking about?
Ghost guns.
Oh, geez. My bad. I knew it.
So their recoveries are up 400% in 5 years.
Oh my goodness.
In Cook County, in the Chicago zone.
Guess when printing your own firearms reached?
Irrelevant.
Oh, okay. My bad. Okay.
Yeah, just don't
400%. That is incredible.
That's a big amount number.
Yes.
Yeah. And that has nothing to do with coinciding with the availability and popularity of polymerides either.
Yeah, exactly. Also,
the crime wave.
Yeah. Also in Illinois, virtual reality systems have increased murders by 27% in the last 10 years.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I don't know. If they make nonsense up, I can too.
I was like, wait, hold on, I want to read that.
No, it's just nonsense because VR was like, I guess it existed 10 years ago, but it was not in popular,
right?
In common use, I guess, to use that term.
Yeah. Huh. So they're talking about, we're seeing an explosion. Dart said at a news conference at a sheriff's station in Maywood. We're seeing more and more. They're often assembled from kits, and they're not marked with serial numbers like normal guns. It makes them harder to track. This means that parts can be purchased without a background check, a standard requirement for the purchase of a standard firearm from a federally licensed dealer. How often do you just go and buy a standard gun?
I mean... A standard gun, regular?
Yeah, no, these are standard like 5 times. It's as if you can just go into like the gun shop and be like, number 1, please.
Right. I'll have a number 1 with extra ammo.
Yeah, a number 1 with 2 clipazines.
And please put Cheese Whiz in the barrel.
Yeah.
Oh, God. She also said plaguing Illinois' black and brown communities.
Yeah, God forbid these people that you've locked into a cycle of poverty with your horrible, policies all this time can actually have firearms to be able to defend themselves, against the threats that your police refuse to help them from.
Right.
But no, it's okay. The cops are going to save them from being armed. It's going to be great.
And to be fair, those communities are voting these idiots into power as well.
Yeah. Well, because they promised them stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But they never follow through on anything. And then they're like, oh no, these black and brown communities,
Yeah.
bad dudes over there. Don't go up there. It's exploding with ghost guns.
When we got to help them
Yeah.
with
We're going to
stuff.
take away these ghost guns,
Yeah, we're gonna take your things.
but we're not doing anything about, crime
Yeah,
and
that's
gangs. 'Cause
fine.
that's hard.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Too hard.
Let's see. Yeah, the new law would ban the sale of the ghost gun kits immediately and ban any privately assembled firearms unless they are registered with the state and marked with a serial number. The legislation allows for a 6-month grace period to let current ghost gun owners register them.
If you had to make a guess at how many 80% frames were sold in the United States in 2020, what would you guess? Just some wild ass guess.
The total wild ass
Yeah.
in 2020,
Yeah.
I'd say 4 million.
Okay.
What do
So
you think?
I mean, yeah, I'd say that number is in line. I was like 3 to 5, something like that.
Yeah.
And that's just totally a wild guess based on.
Well, I'm counting everything. I'm counting every 80% AK flat, every polymer 80, everything.
Yeah. And now 400 out of 4 million is what percentage? Like 0.0001, something like that. So these 400 crime guns, well,
Those
we
at
don't even know.
400%.
Oh, 400%. Yeah. My
Yeah.
bad.
So wait, hold on. Oh no, they're citing national figures.
Oh.
And again, so between 2016 and 2020, 8,700 ghost guns were found, according to ATF. 8,700
in the entire United States.
In the whole thing from 2016 to 2020, 4 years.
Okay. And my guess is that not all those were used in crimes. They were just recovered from people that may have been prohibited or did something else or red flagged or.
That's 5 years. Well, a lot of times they're recovered in connection with the crime of owning a weapon, owning a firearm that you don't have the license or whatever to own in places like this. So it's you can't trust any of it, but it's still like infinitesimal, right? It's like a tiny amount.
Yeah, kind of like the whole death from the pandemic thing that they seem to also be panicked about. Like, why? I don't know. I'm not.
Well, no, it's just like you use scary numbers, right? Like you don't say like you saw what he had on his chart. It didn't say 8,700 guns nationally. It says recoveries up 400% in 5 years.
Oh yeah, because that's scarier.
That's the bad numbers.
Yeah.
Like,
The group Everytown for Gun Safety has said ghost guns are attractive to white supremacists and other extremists who've used online forums to talk about how to make them. This is like such nonsense.
I really do. So, I've met, how I often say, in my career in DC, I would meet people from this organization, that organization, and everything else. Yeah. And as much as I disagree with their policies, I'd really be able to sit with them as human beings.
Yeah, but not the guy from NAA.
Well, I'm saying out of all of the stiff suits I've met, the only ones I didn't understand were the ones from Everytown. I could not level with them in any way. And I'd be like, it would be like totally out of business discussions. It'd be like they're at the bar hanging out with us after an event or something, and they just act like total droids. Like, and I've come to the conclusion that that's just the type of job that the only type of person who could work for it doesn't even think about work in the morning. You know what I mean? Like the first thing you get up, they don't think or get excited or know what they're going to do. They just go and do it. Right?
Yeah.
Because what are you going to wake up and get excited for to go work at Everytown?
Like literally, I can't even imagine anything.
There's this thing that half of the people in the country really love and are willing to kill over keeping.
Yeah.
Let's curtail that.
Right. Yeah. And I think that for us, the Second Amendment is such an emotional thing. Mm-hmm. History of the country, keeps the freedom. The second defends the first. Like all those things. Like the Second Amendment is a very emotional issue for me, but also one rooted in like fact and history and historical things.
Logic.
Yeah, but like, yeah, they wake up in the morning like, oh my God, someone just made a gun in their bathroom.
I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Want to see me do it again?
We gotta stop. We gotta stop them. It's such a weird thing to be so incredibly committed to. Now, having said that, there are some situations where I could totally 100% imagine that you would. If someone took like a gun that they made in their garage and murdered your family with it,
right.
I can understand how you would be totally 100% like that is a bad thing. Now, if you,
I can understand how you would devote yourself to like limiting that type of, the homemade guns or something, but to then just become a lifer, an anti-gun lifer who switches every day from 3D printing to ghost guns to assault weapons to this or that with no logical relation to one another. I don't understand.
No, I really don't either. Yeah. And like, it's the whole, thinking about the NAA guy, like I so don't even care about his argument at all because he's not forcing his opinion on other people. He's just got, he's got ideas that I would relate to like a punk. But ultimately don't really care. Like people can have their own opinions and that doesn't affect me at all. These people, they want to drive their opinions down our throats. They want to take away, things that this country was founded on. Like it's a weird thing and they're weird people.
Well, and it's if we like, it's not just you should think this way. It's this is the way, and if you don't agree, the government gets to lock you in the cage.
Yes. Yes.
That's a pretty significant distinction.
Or, they think exactly like the whole vaccine thing from Homeboy at NAA. I keep bringing this up because it's exactly that. I laugh, or he says that he laughs or he enjoys some little bit of joy when someone who didn't get vaccinated dies. And the anti-gun people, they're like, oh, you love your guns. And then they have that same emotion.
Yeah.
When someone gets killed by their gun, whether it's,
Oh yeah. No, they get twisted up, they just, shame it. Like, well, not a shame. Thank God it doesn't really happen that much.
Right.
Like pretty much at all. They're always talking about, and like, and these people I've met, they're like, well, but what about all of the instances where, people die cleaning their guns and this and that? It's like, I'm sorry, but that doesn't happen. Like, sure, there are instances of it happening, but there are also I always say I live in Florida. People die from coconuts falling down. I don't think about it on my way doing anywhere. Like because guess what? It's physically possible, but it doesn't happen.
When was the last time you stood under a coconut tree?
Like today.
Oh, okay.
Where I live, they're everywhere.
Okay, fair. I was curious, like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Looking up above me.
It's a thing.
Okay. All right.
And what's really funny is on the road here along where I live, the sidewalk is lined with coconut trees.
Yeah.
And so they are like directly overhead.
Well, you guys need to normalize shooting coconuts out of the trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
With high caliber rifles.
Yeah, the biggest one.
Yeah, and then
because that way it gets more coconuts.
And then throw your used batteries into the ocean because you're right there anyway.
Yeah, it's right there. It really doesn't make any sense. It's safe and legal to do.
It's 100%, yes.
Anyway, so we got some good news. Well, pretty good news. Second Amendment Foundation has secured a win in their Pennsylvania gun range ban case. So
nice.
They haven't won the case. They were securing a trying to get a preliminary injunction to prevent the government from preventing gun ranges from coming up in this area of PA. The case is called Drummond v. Robinson Township. There's a lot of cases like this. It goes all the way back to 2018 when they sued the township and the zoning officer, for basically using the zoning rules to prevent the existence of a gun range at all in the township. So again, this doesn't end the lawsuit, but it's a really good note, right? It's a really good sign, and it prevents the government from continuing on its current course of action. 3
of my favorite words ever: enjoined from enforcing.
Yeah,
I love that. So that's good, and then they'll continue to go on. But in the meantime, this is like how Freedom Week happened in California, right? They were enjoined from enforcing,
right,
things that stopped people from having cool stuff.
Yep. And so hopefully they get a range out of it. And, sure, stuff like that isn't always the sexiest, but, victories, especially in the gun space and the 2A space, help build out binding case law that can be used on, other situations going forward.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great thing. They can't enforce it because it doesn't really exist because the judge said so at this point. And then they go on and they do the rest of the case and then they figure it out. So like in the meantime, they can business as usual or do whatever they want, really.
Yep. So moving on, there's another preliminary injunction, and this time it did not go so well. It's for rare breed triggers. We've talked about them a bunch of times on here. They were seeking to enjoin the ATF from making good on their threat, right, to call the FRT machine gun, blah, blah. And they did lose that battle. And of course, that's not, this doesn't mean they lose their case. It means that they don't get to, ahead of the case, lock the ATF's hands. So it doesn't tell us an incredible amount, but it's kind of the opposite of the previous situation. Not a great sign.
Right. I was literally going to ask you that. Like, what do you think that means in the case as a whole, if anything?
So one of the elements is demonstrating like a likelihood of success on the merits.
Mm-hmm.
And so if the judge said that element was missing, then it's a very bad situation.
Yeesh.
And I think it might have been rendered complicated for a variety of reasons in the rare breed case, specifically the way it was brought. So there's not much I can say as to what the health of the case is going forward, but there is a lot I can say as to this video that Rare Breed put out. And I never saw it again until it was on this news report.
Yeah.
But here, let me zoom in on this.
WSTV 9.
Yep. Let's see if the audience can notice what's wrong here.
It happens so quick.
Look at that optic. It is not on. It is like the gun that they're shooting is the suppressed Spikes AR, and all you can see is this huge. Is that a Holosun? It's some.
Or is it the Vortex? No, it's not the Vortex. I just got one of those today.
Yeah, it's some huge red dot, and the thing is just rolling.
I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to be like, look how fast shooting this gun is. I'm just going to set the optic on the rail.
Right. Oh, God.
It's pretty funny. It's hard to see with that overhand C clamp.
Yeah, with that Costa clamp. But yeah, I mean, wishing him the best of luck. I think that the law is on their side. But it's, forgive me for not having a tremendous amount of faith in the judicial system. I will also tell you that the Middle District of Florida, which is where Rare Breed would bring this, is like when you're bringing a gun case, it's a 50-50 shot. Even if it was like a, bread and butter gun case, not something more edge like this is, the appointees are split pretty evenly between Obama and Clinton era appointees and Bush and Trump era appointees. So there's no there's kind of no bias, in the makeup of the Middle District. So, that
is tough.
A thing, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, last up, we've got another interesting thing, and I'm sure you guys remember the day the Capitol was stormed violently, an insurrection.
Yeah, I was just going to say, bro, the insurrection.
Yes. And so Judicial Watch, who is a great organization, I thought about working with them at one point, but decided to focus on guns instead, have come forth with a report, and they're saying that internal police documents reveal no good reason for the shooting of Babbitt. And yeah, this is more than 500 pages of documents that they uncovered from the DCMP, the District of Columbia Metropolitan Police, concerning the fatal shooting of Ashley Babbitt in the Capitol, reveal witness accounts stating she was not holding a weapon at the time of her death and how upset the officer was after shooting her.
Oh, well, if he's upset, then nothing's wrong.
Clearly,
It
So yeah,
did it to me too. I've got it up if I accepted their extortion.
Right. No, I got it here.
Okay.
So, he's done an interview.
The officer, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Sergeant Redacted.
But if he's upset about it, then really, like, how can we be mad?
That's true. It's
Yeah,
like it didn't happen.
Yeah, like if he was just like, yeah, I did it and I'd do it again, then we can be mad. But if he's upset, like the law doesn't really apply here.
Agent step back.
I think this whole thing is actually so.
So this isn't the actual. Yeah, it was Lieutenant. This is a report from a different guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lieutenant Byrd looked upset and stated, "I was the one who took the shot." The report continued.
Right. He was like, that lady, she had the craziest look in her eye. And I honestly thought that I was going to be raped. So I did what I had to do.
Well, no, so she was going to get into the empty room.
Right. The people's room.
I wouldn't worry about that. It was the Fed police didn't want anyone to go in the room.
But the all the Congress critters were there, right? So it's
no, they weren't there, but it's okay. It doesn't matter because the police did not want them to go in the room. Is that clear? Do you understand that?
Didn't they unlock the doors and
do you not understand the police did not want them to enter the room?
In the room that there was nobody in, and
the empty room.
The empty room.
Yes, it was an empty room with nothing of value.
Okay.
That the police did not want them in.
Okay. All right. Well, I also don't want the police in my room. So that's
even.
Whoa,
whoa. Hey.
Wait.
Man, we live in a society. You got to pay the price.
Well, what
you got to make certain concessions.
Oh, okay. So the unarmed women are to be shot without warning. Is that
if they're going in the room?
They're going in the room.
Police don't want them to go.
Okay. So do we have a list of these rooms?
Shawn, do you have something to hide or something?
Do we have a list of these rooms so I can be sure specifically which one?
Just when they tell you don't go.
Okay.
Just go to another place.
All right. And the list is published where? Just so I can be sure.
Just have to listen.
Oh, okay.
Listen, no, Shawn, do you have something to hide?
Yeah, so many things actually.
All right, well then maybe that makes sense why you resist so much.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
They're supposed to get you.
Yeah, I'm criming hard every day.
Why don't you go in the room then, huh?
Yeah, I will. I will go in the room because it's public property.
We'll let officer guns generally shooting policy decide how to.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If I do the thing and I stop someone from coming into the room that we don't want them to go into, I'm going to be real upset about it. So it's okay.
It's just so preposterous because everything about this situation, and I mean, like, are we being a little irreverent? Yes, right. Somebody died horribly, but it's just such a unbelievable clown car of a situation where it's like, how much more stupidness could you possibly fit into it? Or it's like, and we saw the video. Dogs.
Yeah,
okay, they're being good.
Yeah, we saw the video. It seems very non-threatening, and I've tried to look at it through both eyes. Lieutenant, here's the quote from the other guy. I saw Lieutenant Byrd don't know if it was before or after because I was trying to figure this out. There's at one point where I remember seeing him and he kind of went like this and then came back up again. I don't know if that was from him taking the shot and stepping away back from the shot or if it was before that. I can't, no matter how I tried to rack my brain, I can't figure out when that happened. But so I don't know if something happened to him where caused him to take the shot or not. Okay, well, that basically made me retarded. So
I can feel my brain cells sleeping. They're not sending their best, people.
No. And look, like, she was shot, and the guy who did it, honestly, he should be punished to the absolute
the fullest extent of the law. You mean qualified immunity and allowed to retire with a huge pension?
No. He should be put in jail. Yeah.
I mean, look, it was a weird situation, right? And she was certainly behaving weirdly, I mean, so it's not, but it's like, she was acting weird, right? Getting on the thing and trying to put her leg through the bingle there.
Yeah, she's trying to get in that room.
She's trying to get in the place.
The room.
And like, that's weird, right? You're like, that's a bit weird. So I'm not gonna say she was just minding her own business. You know what I mean?
She wasn't just walking down the street and a coconut hit her in the head. That's
it's slightly different. But so that's what makes this whole thing just so utterly preposterous. It's that We go there. Guy shoots her, and then immediately there's like a fully armed SWAT cop that just appears, and it's like, oh, I'm glad we were so worried about this unarmed woman when we had, M4 McBayonets over here
Right.
just
Yeah.
chilling. And then now all this time later, we get the reports where they're like, these cops are just like word salading at each other,
Yeah.
and are very upset.
Yeah, and I don't know, like these appear to be DC police. So like this is not like Secret Service or anything like that. Like I have to say that their rules of engagement are like probably clearly don't cover something like this.
Yeah.
This is
Well, wasn't the guy that shot, wasn't he a Fed?
I don't think
I mean,
so.
he
Like
he was wearing a suit.
maybe I really don't know, but this whole
Yeah.
thing is the DC MPs.
Yeah.
I just
Well, I mean, they have jurisdiction over such matters that occur
yeah.
with.
You feel like maybe if she came through with a gun or something like that, but like we as individuals, we have to be able to clearly articulate that we thought that our life was in jeopardy or we were in danger of serious bodily harm before we can use and not in all states, but before we can, react with lethal force. Uh, like shouldn't they have at the bare minimum the same thing? Like where was the threat here? Where was
See
the
that? Oh, well, this is a quote. He did everything he could do. He was by himself.
yeah, he
No, he wasn't.
busted a cap in an unarmed lady.
We were defending the front door, and they were shaking it.
They were shaking it.
That's what it says.
Okay, well, I agree with them then. They were upset and they were shaking the door. Murder solved.
I tried to wait as long as I could, Bird said. I hoped and prayed no one tried to enter through those doors, but their failure to comply required me to take the appropriate action to save the wives of members of Congress and myself and my fellow officers.
Because there was a whole lot of violence going on in that building
Yeah.
that day. Maybe
They were
they
trying to get in the room.
yeah, maybe they saw the Viking and they were like, holy moly, there's and he's like the techno Viking. And if you've ever seen that dude, he's like really scary. This was a different, less threatening techno Viking, but still, maybe they saw that and they were like, the dude's got horns on his head. He was a monster. I did what I had to do.
Yeah, I know that day I saved countless lives, Bird said in his interview. I know members of Congress, as well as my fellow officers and staff, were in jeopardy and in serious danger, and that's my job.
Didn't the only person who died, wasn't Ashley Babbitt the only person who died?
No, didn't somebody get trampled? I think one other cop like had a heart attack.
No, it turns out that that was like not the case at all. And
Oh, really?
it was like a suicide after the fact or something like
Oh,
that.
neat.
Yeah. I don't recall exactly, but I'm pretty sure like maybe someone got trampled, but
Yeah, I think there was like I don't know. I feel like whenever there's a thing like that, somebody always gets trampled, right? Like every Black Friday, like 100 people die.
right. But like this was not a thing where there was like trampling and going on. I don't know.
Oh, there's some
Cause of
videos
death
where I
and
saw that
reasons
looked like
for-
there could have been trampling.
that could be. Here, let me just disable
People
my
generally trample. Like people do that.
there's definitely trampling, but that's usually trying to run away from something or run to something. These people were just like,
on television. That's actually more
Yeah.
expensive than you could have gotten online. I don't
It's-
understand why people still do Black Friday.
all right. So Ashley Babbitt died homicide from a gunshot to the left shoulder. This is on
Mhm.
USA Today. I have not read this ahead of time. Kevin G, 55, died of natural causes from cardiovascular disease. Benjamin P, 50, died of natural causes from cardiovascular disease. And Roseanne, 34, died by accident from acute amphetamine intoxication. That's the deaths on January 6th. 2 heart attacks, 1 meth overdose, and a murder by Capitol Police.
Yeah, so on Wikipedia, they of course refer to Babbitt, a responding officer who was pepper sprayed and had 2 strokes the next day.
Mm-hmm.
After which he was placed on life support and soon died. They said his death was natural, and that the event played a role in his condition. Another person died of a meth overdose, based, in addition to being trampled by other rioters after her collapse. And another person died naturally from coronary heart disease and hypertensive heart disease.
Yeah. So like this was not that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry. That's horse shit.
Well, but somebody did get trampled. Just they were also having a bit of a meth overdose.
Yeah, they fell down because okay. Well, yeah. You know what? Ashley Babbitt, she died of COVID. if that's our criteria, then that's what I'm saying.
Oh man, do you remember though, like when that stuff happened? This was right. We were how far into 2021 were we at this point? Like, oh yeah, 6 days.
Yeah, it's January 6th.
And everyone was like, "Oh, 2020 was the worst year ever. It was the worst year ever. It could only get better." And then it's like, nope. Check this out.
Dude, first of all, 2020 was great. Like I had a wonderful year. Like I honestly did. It was great.
I mean, mine was okay.
Yeah, the like business did great. Like I, like all my friends and family did great. 2020 was awesome. Yeah, like there was a couple times where I couldn't buy toilet paper and had to wipe my butt with my girlfriend's shirts, but
neat.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm mad now.
Invention. It's necessity. Mother.
I'm mad. Is it Halloween yet?
Adapt. Overcome. It's not. But
shoot, move, communicate.
We have.
I'm sorry. Move, communicate, move, shoot.
Yeah, shoot, move, communicate. Patriot Patch Company.
Is it Halloween yet?
No, but there's a patch drop.
Dude,
it's Stay Puft drop number 1.
Oh yeah, they're doing like 4 or 6 of them.
Oh, you can get. Oh, they're all sold out. Oh, wait, no. You can get them individually, but you can't get the combo. That's weird. But yeah, we got Stay Puft Marshmallow and the the mucus ghost in the Ghost Slimer.
Yeah. And actually they're doing multiple of these that'll be available like over the next few Fridays, which is pretty cool. If you go to patches and then new patches, there's actually a couple that I wrote. Oh, wow. The Vampire Lips patch with steel case AR ammo in her mouth.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, the Toyo truck, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Back to the Future, I love it. It's the one that he's waxing for Biff, but it's his at the end.
Yeah.
The Raven skull patch I actually really like.
Hey, these are interesting.
Yeah.
So I like the Corvette patch.
Yeah.
That's good.
Who is that? I can't see. I don't know who that is. Who is that?
Is it supposed to be? I can't actually tell.
Yeah,
I think it might supposed to be Bateman.
It is cool, whatever it is. Oh yeah, I think you're right.
Right, except he didn't drive a Corvette, but whatever.
Or shoot a Uzi.
Yeah, he didn't do that. He did have a time traveling Glock 19.
Interesting.
You noticed that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, because the movie was supposed to take place in like the late 80s, but he had a Glock 19, which was brand new when the movie was shot.
That's so awesome. I love it. But this is Patriot Patch Company. You can buy all kinds of cool patches.
And we have a discount code if you want to join. You can also join the Patch of the Month Club, which you can see attached to Shawn's microphone. We have the promo code TWIG10. That's TWIG 10. And you can get a certain amount off of your first order.
Yeah. Do it. Or any order unless it's Patch of the Month.
Right.
Yeah. So you can
or something. Or the drop one. It says you can't do it on that.
Yeah, you know what we've given them really? We've given them the ability to never pay full price for a patch again.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. And you're welcome.
Check it out.
You're welcome for that.
All right, that's it.
That's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done. Have a whatever day, okay? All right, bye.
Yeah, and don't look at the picture of that guy from NAA because you'll hate him.
Yeah, you're gonna feel weird about him. Yeah.